I'm Staci. I am 38 years old. I'm from Canada in a province called Saskatchewan. I'm a financial advisor at an institution here in a really small town, Kindersley. So I started talking to Shimreet in May of last year.
Yeah.
And I was trying to manage a very, very high stress job, lots of expectations. I also was engaged and there was 3 teenagers involved, and I had lots going on in my life. I've struggled with anxiety and depression my whole life. But in this particular time of my life, it was really, really bad. So I was anxious all the time. My mind would not shut off. I'd come home and it was just work, work, work. And worst case scenarios, it got to the point where I literally was coming home from work. I was laying in bed. I was crying. And it was just really awful. So one day I was just scrolling on my phone and I came across Shimreet's program and I decided to join up. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think it can be maybe interesting to know, I know that, of course, but maybe for others watching, if you've ever, prior to reaching out to me and joining this program, and in a minute we will talk about your experience in the program and what changed in your life as a result, but have you done or tried anything before, and how long have you been? No, you mentioned, I think, now that you've been struggling with this for most of your life. So what have you tried prior to this, in terms of overcoming, treating, dealing with anxiety and depression?
Well, when I was about 12 years old, I'd say it started, preteens.
Yeah.
And my mom had me visiting psychologists, psychiatrists. I was on medications. And then in my later years, because I had stopped doing the medications and stuff for a while. And then in my, I'd say early 20s, maybe 18, 19, somewhere in there, I again went back to see a psychiatrist. She wanted to put me on a bunch of meds again. And then I've been to counseling, and I even was seeing a counselor just before joining this program. So lots of things I've tried.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And the reason I'm asking this is because many times when people have tried so much already, it's really hard to keep faith in the possibility of ever feeling better and coming out of it. Because they've tried so many things, right? So I want to show people that even if you've tried so many things, you can still do it and you can still feel better and you can still change your life. And so maybe you can share with us what within the program, within the process of working together, what was most meaningful for you, what was most helpful for you, within this journey.
Well, I always pinpoint the one meditation that we did, the Campfire Meditation.
Yeah.
And why I say that is because I believe that from about the age of 12 on, I had heavy, heavy resentment towards my parents. I always believed that was the root of everything I was going through, of my unhappiness, of not loving myself. And I just could never get to the bottom of it. And when we did that practice, I really did feel that I let it go. And I actually have a really good relationship with both of them now. So
that's amazing.
That's, I would say, the most impact I've had.
Yeah. So you're saying that that now you had a really good relationship with both of them, which is something that you see as a result of this work. Is there anything else that you can say or acknowledge to be an outcome of this process for you?
Well, everything really. It changed my whole life. I mean, I no longer carry work home with me. I don't think about work when I leave. I don't put in the stupid hours I was putting in or put the pressure on me. I've learned to detach. Like, how do I explain that? I used to react. So something would happen, it would not be the most positive thing for me at the time, and I would react emotionally right away. And one of the major things that I learned was how to just detach from that emotion and just let it rest with me for that minute, and only a minute. And then I feel I can think clearly and rationalize and assess the issue.
Yeah.
So that's been a big thing. I'm happier. I've set boundaries with in situation, boundaries at work, boundaries with my parents. And it's just this, I know myself. I have this true understanding of who I am, and I love myself. And I
Yes.
never could say I felt that way before.
Yeah. That's amazing, and that relates so much to what we are about to talk about after our conversation. A few things that you've mentioned: the love for yourself and the forgiveness, the release of the resentment. That is so healing and so central and deep in this process of reaching the contentment and the peace and sustaining it as well, right? That because it gives you that core and that knowing who you really are. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you so much for sharing that. That is so valuable. I've received so many amazing responses for yesterday's session when people had the opportunity to hear Lucinda and Elizabeth. So it means so much to people, and you don't know even how much inspiration and encouragement people are getting from hearing your story. So just so you know.
That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yes, it's very valuable. And so you mentioned this deep meditation, and I wonder if you can think of any. So I can think, but maybe let's see what you can think of, because I know we've done a few other things that really were very poignant. I know not as that. I know this is always whenever we talk about this, and not only you, right? This process is so poignant. But then we did some dream work and some other kinds of meditation. So maybe you can even open up a little bit more about and kind of share a little bit more about so open up, I mean, in terms of the spectrum of the things that we've done together and the tools or the processes that we've practiced together. Maybe you can mention a few more things to show, what the variety of things that we do in the program.
Well, you mentioned the dream work. That I
Yes.
remember that moment. That was a big eye opener for me, and it had a really big impact in my life.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really neat. I mean, I'd say there's not one practice that we've done that hasn't helped in some area or another. Even just looking at like the process with the victim, right?
Yeah.
The victim role and the that was a big one too, because I found a lot of my life I would play the victim and feel bad, and instead of, maybe doing something else or thinking more positive. And a lot of the reframing of the thoughts.
Yeah.
That's big, because for me the thoughts were what were causing the anxiety, like the obsessive thoughts, right? So reframing them and seeing them in a different way in my mind really helped as well. I'm trying to think here. I feel just as a whole, there's not one thing there that didn't help in one area or another, right? And there's been so many transformations, like I said, setting boundaries, and just being true to myself. The meditations really helped me connect to my core, and to be in tune with energies, if that makes sense, like energies in the universe. I really started to feel my connection there. And I found as soon as that started to happen, everything started turning around for me.
Yeah.
So reframing thoughts is a big thing, because how we look at things and how we think is how we're going to treat ourselves. That's how we're going to treat other people, so it's a really important thing.
Yeah. And we've had the opportunity since we started almost a year ago, no, almost, let's say 9 months, so we kind of had the opportunity to start working also on, you mentioned energies and tuning into that. And so really using the power of imagination and being a conscious creator, and working more towards creating a future, and using the freedom to focus on things, not only to shift out from anxiety and struggle or depression, but actually moving forward to a new future that becomes possible.
Right.
Once you get there. So can you share a little bit about that too, maybe?
Well, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been several things in my life that have come about due to this. I mean, even as we were talking with the truck, for example, right?
Yeah.
That came into reality. Several relationships. I feel all my relationships have improved. In every area, friendships, parents, everything. And as far as consciously creating, my success at work, I and the fact that I'm so successful and so busy, but yet I'm handling it at a much calmer, right? So it just feels like, and it appears to, everything that I've put my mind to in this last 9 months is occurring for me. It is happening.
Yeah.
So.
And it's amazing what you say about work, and Lucinda shared exactly the same thing. She got promoted, she's making more money, she's being more successful, but she's working less and she's more enjoying her work.
Right.
And I think it's something that both of you share, that you both really suffered at your work, in your job, when we started working together. I know you did, and also Lucinda, and now you thought you will have to stop, you will have to quit your job, and now you're really thriving there.
Well, I'm doing very well, and even, I want to touch on the conscious creating again, the exam, right? I struggled and struggled with this exam, and then when I put my mind to it and started to consciously create, I passed it.
Yes.
So I mean, it's there. We have the tools to do it.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And can you share something about the group, maybe, with the aspect of having the group sessions and having that support from the group?
Yeah, I love the group. I just find, at first it was really out of my box, right? It wasn't something I was super comfortable with, as you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody just becomes a part, like a family. And I love the fact that we can be so vulnerable and so honest and just share our deepest, darkest secrets, so to speak, right? And there's just so much support and love. And it's really great to have. It really is.
Thank you so much, Staci, for sharing that. I want to say, people who are listening, if you have any questions quickly before Staci is saying goodbye to us, then drop them quickly in the chat. And as people do that, if anyone have any question, I want to ask you if you have anything to say to people who are watching. People have been vulnerable and open and supportive here in this group, in this setting of the workshop in the past week. And some have joined us already. I know some are considering, and many have been sharing that they are struggling with very similar, hurdles and struggles. So I wonder if you have anything to say to people that are in a similar position as you were months ago. If you have any message for those people watching.
Well, I would definitely say put yourself first. And
Yes.
If you have any hesitations, I would just jump in and do it, because it's the best thing I ever did. It changed my life. And 37 years I struggled and I never thought I would feel the way I do. So I would definitely recommend this program for anybody.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And you know what? I have one more question to ask you in specific about, because I know you really loved it, the process you did with Michael, Michael, that's how you pronounce his name actually,
Yeah.
the astrologist who will be with us tomorrow. No, on Tuesday. He will be with us here on Tuesday. If you have anything to share about that, you know, what is so amazing about it?
Well, it's just so on point. You
Yeah,
know, I would listen to him talk, and I would literally get like the hairs standing up on my arms,
yeah,
you know, because it was so true. And I really listened to what he had to say. I learned a lot more. I would say, when I say I've become so familiar with myself, that is a big part of it. I learned
yeah,
a lot about myself there. And I did put into practice things that him and I spoke about, and it was amazing, the results, like absolutely amazing. So I recommend that to anybody. It's so cool, and you just can't believe what you hear, and it's so accurate. So
yes.
it was a really, that was a big game changer too, for sure.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. And you have some really nice comments that you are beautiful and great work. And so this is so valuable. And I know some people will watch this as a replay as well. So even more people will be inspired and encouraged by your sharing. So I thank you so much, Staci, and I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too.
Thank
And thank
you.
you, everybody, for the comments.
Yes, and you can go back later to the group and read some more comments. I'm sure there will be more by tomorrow and more people will be watching this. Thank you so much for making time and being here and sharing your story. And I'll see you very soon.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Okay.
Bye, love.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.